Awesome. I like that.
Yep. Thank you, Kirsten. And Brandy, that was one. And by the way, I'm recording this, as you know, and I'll send you a copy of it. One of the things you and I talked about in our very first meeting was that you guys are with ADP, and one of the things that you talked about is, I'm going to use my own words, being a small fish in a big pond. You don't get that high touch service with a bigger organization, whereas with ESI, we're much smaller, high touch, and you get that one-on-one service.
Right.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and Lori, I'm going to send it over to you.
Okay. Hi, Brandy. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Excuse me, I'm going to grab a notepad so I can take
That's
notes.
okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
No worries.
I am in the payroll department, and so I have a great payroll team. And you would also, HR and payroll are pretty much the only departments other than Debbie that would be actually assigned to your company. So you would have one dedicated payroll person. So you could, I mean, honestly, a lot of our clients, they deal with payroll and they deal with HR. So you would have one payroll person to call, contact, be able to get in touch with. But it doesn't mean like if that person's on another call or something, if you had something urgent, you could ask to talk to anybody else in the payroll department, or just reach out to Kirsten and she could pass along whatever message you needed us to know.
Okay.
Okay. So the system that we use is called PrismHR. And I think maybe if you wanted to, I could show you just real quick the timekeeping system that we use, but I'm not sure if you're really very interested in that. So you can tell me if you want that or not.
Yeah, our guys have to clock in and out through a dispatching system, so that might work.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and that's what we'll go first then. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is Prism. This is what we call your manager portal. So you would have access to log into your manager portal, and this is exactly what your screen is going to look like. And I'm in our demo company, but when you have payrolls that are posted, there will be some recent payroll information in this box here. And that is just your quick, easy way to get to all your final reports. If you had any live checks in that payroll, then it would show you who had live checks. It'll show you your final invoice. You'll have your payroll allocation report, a check register report. I think those are the four. And you can get all kinds of other reports too. If you wanted a gross to net report, all of that stuff, you can use this main search bar up here to just start typing in and looking for different things if you want to. But you also have lots of things available to you by clicking on these different things up here. And then these are all the reports that are available to you. And then if you needed something different that you couldn't find there, or you're not sure, like what information you want, but you're not sure what it's called, you can always reach out to us and ask us, and we can help you. We can help direct you in the right location.
That's a lot of reports.
There's a lot. So just in your main dashboard here, you can add things to my favorites. I'm going to use just timesheet entry because that's going to be something that you would need to have in your favorites. You can search for it up here, and you can pull it up the first time like this, and then you would just come over to the action menu. And mine says remove from favorites, but if yours wasn't in the favorites, it would say add to favorites. You can do that with as many things as you want to. Any report that you find, if you don't want to try to remember what it's called, you can add them to your favorites. And I mean, if I'm logged in as me, and Kirsten can tell you this is absolutely true, I have so many things in my favorites, I have to scroll for days. I use that a lot. So anyway, you would probably need timesheet entry, payroll approval, and time and labor. We're going to jump to that really quick just so I can kind of show you what that looks like. But this link right here takes you into Time Clock Plus. So we use Time Clock Plus, and they partner with PrismHR so that you can have just that one login and get to timekeeping and get back to your manager portal. Just toggle back and forth if you want to. The way that you would get back to your manager portal is you would just click on the ESI logo. And any screen that you're in, if you click on that ESI logo, it'll take you back to your home page. So this is Time Clock Plus, and on the front here, this is kind of what your dashboard would look like. It'll tell you all kinds of different things in here. If your employees wanted to request PTO, time off, something like that, they can go in to TCP from their employee portal, and they can make a request for time off, and then it would show up in here telling you that you need, or that you have pending time off requests in here. Missed punches, the way that we have this, the default way that we set this up is that, okay, so let's just say that I forgot to clock in this morning, but then I go to clock out at lunchtime. I'm going to get this little box up on my screen that is going to tell me that I am not clocked in. So that means I missed my in punch that morning, and it'll say, you have to resolve this before you can clock out for lunch. So then I'll click on continue, and another little box will come up, and it'll show me, like, I can put in my end time. So I would just type in for that day 8 a.m. and it will require me to put a note in there to my manager. And so in the notes field, the manager, when you're going in and you're approving time, you will be able to see, let me see if I can get some hours up here. Okay, so there would be this little notes box right here. It'll be outlined in like in a bold blue. And so if my manager needed to approve one of my missed punches, what they would want to do is come in, and you can do it from group hours where you can see everybody's, or you can just do it, individual. So like right in here, you can see everybody. And if there's any notes in here, the note thing is going to be blue. And none of these, see all these little red marks here? That means that none of this time has been approved. And so when they clock in and out, you're going to be able to see any missed punches right in here. And you can open this up, and there's no note, but if there was a note, it would say in here, forgot to clock in this morning, or whatever it is that the employee puts in there. Now, just because they're putting in the time, if you know for a fact that that person, like maybe I didn't actually get into the office until 8:20, then my manager can still put in 8:20, even though I put in 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's not intended for them to like cheat the system.
Right.
It's just, but you do have to final approve that. So if you agree with what's in there, you're just going to go ahead and approve it. And if you don't agree, then obviously you're probably going to have conversation with your employee, but then you can edit that time and then you'll approve it.
Okay.
So it's not like they just get to put in whatever and you have no control. So I like that piece of it.
And question for you, Lori. So Brandy has full-time and part-time people. So everybody would put their time in this system, correct?
Yes. If she has any hourly employees, and basically what we would do is I could set up different user roles for part-time and full-time, but really you don't need that. What you really, really need at the end of the day is you have hourly employees, and if you have salaried employees, then we would set up an employee role called salary. And salaried employees do not clock in and out because I would set up those hours in the background. And so you won't see their hours in here, but when you export all of the hourly employees' time, you'll see it in Prism in your timesheet entry screen. That's where it'll come over with the export of the hourly employees' time. And so it's really simple, but the salaried employees, if you have any of those and you wanted them to request PTO through the system, then what would happen is you would still see their pending time off requests in here.
Mhm.
And you would go in there and you can approve them. It'll say pending, or let me go in, I'll show you. Oops, it's right here. Requests. This is where you would see it. It
Okay.
looks like a calendar. And let's just say that you have a pending, it would be in blue. And it would say pending time off request, on this day. It'll show you how many hours and the employee. And if you want to approve it, you can just you're going to double click, open it up, and then you will just click on approve. If you're going to deny it, you can do that as well. You can put in notes, you can do whatever you want to. Once you approve it, it will actually show up in your employee's timesheet. So it would be like this right here where it says timesheet. It would say PTO 8 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever. And then but it will automatically show up on their timesheet once you approve it over there in the request. Now, with a salaried employee, what would happen is you would then see your salaried employee, their PTO days in this list in the group hours for the pay period, but it will only show you just the PTO or just the holiday if you have holiday pay or whatever. But then when they're 80 hours or however your pay period is, when their hours are being exported, the say 80 hours for biweekly would be reduced by whatever holiday and PTO hours you have. So when it goes into Prism in your timesheet, if they have 2 PTO days, then it's not going to show up as 80 hours of regular time. It's going to have those hours reduced by the amount of PTO hours that you've approved and exported over there. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. And this program is so much nicer than the one that we used to have. There was a couple that we used to use, and this is a lot nicer. So this is just your main dashboard, and you can get rid of whatever little widgets that you want on here. You can, if you don't care about seeing overtime or approaching overtime, you can remove that. You can go right into edit and you can just click those things off of there. You can put them in whatever order you want. You have the ability to do that.
So another question, I'm full of them. The approaching overtime, what's the importance of that particular area? Like if a company doesn't want their people to have a whole lot of overtime, and if they're approaching it, then they would take action?
Yeah, it's probably in the budget for.
Right. Exactly. That it's just a tool that some of our clients like it and some of our clients don't. Some of our clients just, they either know that they don't really have a whole lot of overtime, so they don't have it on there, or we also have other clients that they really want to pay attention to how many hours the people are working, because they, instead of paying overtime, they could have, switch out a couple of people and have someone making regular time, so it is all about money and budgeting, and however, the company needs to use that piece.
Okay, I have a question about when the employee, this is my page, right? So
yes,
what are the employees seeing when they log in? And also another second question, either one in either order is fine, but does the display, can I use this on a tablet, something like that, or do they have to always access it from a computer or laptop to do the clock ins and outs?
We do have a pricing flyer that I could send out to you. So this is the web clock. This is if they used an actual computer, and you can restrict them to use only one computer. You would just have to give me the public IP address for each computer, and then that would stop them from being able to use just any computer all over the city, wherever they wanted to. So we can put those restrictions in place. You can use a tablet if you want. I have to look at the pricing page, but there is a tablet that can be used for this. There's also a mobile app. So if you wanted to allow them to use the mobile app, you could do that. And when if you wanted to see where did somebody actually clock in and out, you could go to their hours. And I don't think that in here we have this, but if somebody actually used a mobile app to clock in and out, you can double click on the line that you want to see, and there would be, I think it's under here in extra, and there would be a place that, a little section in here that shows you the location. So it'll actually show you like the Google map of where they clocked in at, where they clocked out at.
Oh,
So
cool.
if you wanted to use that, you can. There's also a thing called geofencing, and that's with the mobile app. So you could give me like a specific address, and then I could draw like however, like maybe a couple blocks around that address, and they wouldn't be able to clock in or out if they were outside of that geo fence that's set up for that location. So there's lots of different things that are very good about this. And if I don't, and I'm not telling you right now that I am a TCP expert, I'm not. I just happen to know a lot more about it than anybody else right now. So, but if I need help, or if I can't answer a question, I can reach out to them directly. I have I have 3 people there that I work with all the time, and they're on this team that is dedicated, to ESI. So if I have questions, or if I need help setting something up, they are always like right on it and helping me. So, I mean, if you have a question and I don't know, I don't know if it can do that, let me find out. Usually within an hour, I can get the answer back from them.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Lori, let me just clarify something real quick to make sure we understood Brandy's question. Brandy, when you asked about if TCP can be used on tablets, were you hoping to have just one tablet, like a kiosk tablet, available, or did you want, do your employees have tablets that they carry as a part of their job, and you wanted them to be able to log in and out on those individual?
They do have tablets that they log in and out on, but I was thinking more of a kiosk type system because just for ease of use for them. If they come in and they get to the warehouse and want to clock in, they have one place to go.
And so,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Kirsten.
I was just going to say, so Lori, I pulled that up while y'all were talking, and it is the web clock price, which is $5 per user per month, plus $35 per month for that kiosk option. So to have that available, and then it also says that that particular tablet can be provided with the TCP setup. So the tablet is a property of ESI, but it would be included as a part of the process.
Wow, that's great.
So we provide the tablet.
Yes.
Okay. And Brandy, so your question was more around not necessarily flexibility and your folks being able to enter their time from anywhere. It's more about control.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you would have that ability. I heard you ask, what does the employees side look like?
Mm-hmm.
Let me, you know what? I'm just going to log into my employee portal. So this is what it looks like. I'm just going to log into mine, and I'm not sure if I can get to TCP from here because, well, I think I can. I'm pretty sure I can. Hold on.
You should be able to through the time and attendance side, Lori.
No, I know from my employee portal. This is how the employees get into TCP. Right. Okay. So, and this is what their employee portal will look like too. So I mean, you're going to see my information, but I don't care. So right over here, it's going to have Time Clock Plus. And so the employees will log in that way. But if you have the kiosk, it'll actually have the TCP homepage. But this is what mine looks like because I'm salaried. So if I want to request PTO, I come in here and I make my PTO request. And if I want to view any of my timesheets, I can look at my hours, my accruals, messages, whatever. Now, your hourly employees are going to see both of these, but they're going to be over here. And then they are going to have clock in, leave for lunch, back from lunch, clock out, and then view, and then the requests. So if I click on this request, it's going to take me in here, and I can, so I'll show you what this looks like. So if I want that day, I want to start time at 8 a.m. I want 8 hours, and I'm only asking for one day, and I want it to be PTO. So then I just save that. And now my manager is going to get an email notification letting them know that I'm requesting 8 hours of PTO on that day. And then so she'll be able to come in here and she can double click on that, and then she'll just approve it.
Okay.
And then it'll show up on my timesheet, and I'll get next Friday off. Yay.
Yay. So, Lori, would you go to the home real quick? Back to the home. So Brandy, no, the home, not that one.
Oh, you're talking about ESI.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
So, and the only reason I wanted to go back to that is Brandy and I have been meeting with, we met with Bob Walsh with Slavic yesterday, and I noticed that it has that 401 Slavic 401k. So I just wanted
talking about my employee portal. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, my fault.
It's okay. So here, I don't need to go back to this one. I have to log in again, yeah, I think.
No worries, no worries.
So right in here.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So Brandy, I just kind of wanted you to see the homepage for employees so you could see everything that they would get to see. And of course, I think Lori, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they can check their paychecks. I mean, they could check what their 401k is, everything that you see on this main screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can see all of their benefits down there. They can see if they click on this, it'll take them into the detail of their paycheck, and then they can actually click on view check stub, and it'll take a couple of seconds, and then it'll just pop up on their screen. Also, like, I can change my address. I can look at all this stuff. I can change all of this information in here. I can look at all of my benefit stuff. I can do all of that stuff. I can look at pay. I can look at paid time off, taxes. So this is where they can change their tax withholdings. They can get their W-2s. And if they end up, like, we have a 1095C that we get as well with our W-2s. But so this is where your employees would get all of that information. So you wouldn't have to have any paper. You could have everybody on direct deposit. You shouldn't have to look up anybody's information and print it out for them because they have it all right here. They can update their direct deposit information. You can have as many direct deposit accounts as you want to. This system, I believe in their employee portal, it only allows them to enter 2, but if they want more than 2 accounts, we have a direct deposit authorization form that I could send to you, and they could just fill it out and say, this is my 3rd account, this is what I want. We can enter it on our side, or I could show you how to do it for them, because you would have access to do that in your manager portal.
Looks good.
Okay.
And Lori, what are events? So as an example, can you give me an example of how somebody would use events? I mean, is this something that if Brandy had, a team meeting or whatever, yes, is this where you would put that kind of stuff?
You could. Okay.
And
we could work with IT and make sure that it's turned on for her and find out exactly how she does it. I've never seen anything in new messages or events on mine. So it might be that a lot of clients either don't use it or don't want to use it, or maybe they do, and I just don't know.
Okay.
Because I'm not we can't get into each employee's portal. Like, that's their information. That's their stuff. So we can't get in there, and the managers can't get in there. They can only get into their own employee portal. But the managers from the manager portal oh, it kicked me out, sorry. But from the manager portal, you would be able to click on any of your employees. Let's just click on this guy here. And let me just show you a little bit of what you have access to in here. It's very self-service. If you can use it, you can do electronic onboarding, you can do electronic termination, you can do electronic rehiring. You can do all of that stuff right through here. And so if you needed to go into an employee's information, this is all pretty standard stuff. You've got your personal tab, and that just gives you, like, right in here would be contact or emergency contact information if you wanted to use that. This is the address page. They have the ability to change this in their employee portal. But if for whatever reason they didn't want to do that, or if you just did it in here, you can do all of that stuff in here. Their work.
Yeah, I think it would be a situation where they would probably say, I'm moving, I need to make sure that my address is updated, and I would probably end up doing it for them most of the time. Yeah. So that's good for me.
Yeah.
I have another question. I lost train of thought. So yeah, most of my employees are not going to have an email address because it's more of a labor intensive job. So they're going to be on the road working and things like that. So that question that you had about messaging and events and things like that, I would be interested if you could follow up and find out if I can access that, because that might be the only way I can communicate with them if I'm ever working from home, for instance, or if I'm not in the office as early as they are. They maybe are leaving at 8 and I might not get there until I drop my kids off at school. So that might be the communication or way I communicate in some ways, like a Christmas party or something. Yeah.
Right, I understand. Let me give you another option though. You can actually send out messages to all of your employees through the TCP system as well, the timekeeping system. So when they logged in to clock in, it would show them before they even clock in. It'll show them a note, and you can put in there that you always want it to show them that, or that after they've viewed it once, it's okay to go away. And so there, we could set that up and show you how to use that. So that would pop up for them when they go to clock in or clock out, if you do it during the day or whatever. But I can absolutely check about the employee portal. I know that you can use that. I'm just not sure how it works. So I can get with our IT department and ask.
Okay, sounds good.
So you could use them both if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, the work tab, this one is just going to give you, like, if you have different departments, we would set that up for you. If there's project numbers, if you wanted to use that, there's departments, divisions. Your work site location is just going to be, if they're all headquartered out of the one office, then that would be just the main work site location. And you really wouldn't need to change anything here unless you've got a few different departments and an employee is moving from one department to another.
Okay. Well, and Brandy, I know, and I'm just planting seeds. I know you mentioned that you had 2 different territories, Mosquito authority territories. So you could divide, I'm thinking you could divide that up between maybe their different departments if you wanted to track that. Just a thought.
Right, that's true too. This is just going to show you all the status dates. And so it's going to show you when their original hire date was. If they left and came back, it'll show you the last hire date would be different. Seniority date, obviously it's going to be whichever, if they're rehired, most of our clients just have them use the rehire date for seniority, but there have been some exceptions and they might let them use their original hire date. But anyway, in the pay tab, this is going to tell you about their pay. So this person makes $100,000 a year and they're salaried, and it's a weekly payroll. So you can actually make pay rate changes right in here. You would click on pay rate change, and then you could update it to whatever you wanted it to be. And I'm just going to change this one. Maybe. Here we go. It's not letting me click in there. Maybe we don't have the demo set up quite the same as the normal. But anyway, so you can go in there and you can make those changes. The only thing that I caution people about is if they're hourly, make sure that whatever you put in here Like if it's 10, then you want to click per hour. Because if you click like $10 per biweekly, obviously it's going to pay them like 11 cents an hour. So it's just something you got to be careful of. We see that happen all the time. And so this one would either be per year, per hour. And I don't even know why I guess they sometimes have people who choose like a weekly salary or whatever, but I always would suggest using the yearly for salaried and hourly for hours. And then this right here is actually going to be the select the period. So however your pay period is, that's where you would put that in.
Okay. I know in ADP, what we currently use, if you have some employees that are salary and some employees that are hourly, it costs more. Is that the same with you guys?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We don't care if your people are salary or hourly. You get to own that. You get to tell us what you want.
Okay.
No, we don't have extra charges for that.
Okay.
Okay, so the tax tab, now here again, I don't know if this is something that you would want to even mess with because they can do it on their employee portal. The other option would be if they filled out a paper form and they sent it in to us, then we can update their tax information in this screen. You actually have the ability to change stuff for them. If they give you a W-4 form and you just want to make the updates in here, then that's fine. You could do that as well. You have the ability, but you don't have to.
Okay.
You can just send it to us. And then this is their direct deposit tab. And so if they had a new direct deposit account and you just wanted to enter it for them, then that's fine. You can do it right in here. And there again, if you decide to come on, I mean, we would definitely do a more intensive training. This is just an overview showing you the system. But there's also a lot of other things. If you click this action menu over here, you can see their benefits overview. So if they've got active benefits in here, you can come in and look and see what their contribution is based on, the month or whatever, if you ever wanted to look at that. The other things that you can do in here, if you go to the documents page, you can actually load a document in here. Or if you ever sent us like a direct deposit authorization or a cancellation form, we would load the document in here and you would be able to see then any of the documents that you had sent into us. We would load these in here after we make the changes in the system for you.
Okay. One thing, you mentioned more extensive training. This is a lot.
No, I'm just going over the overview of
I understand. But what does that training look like? Because I don't want to make mistakes or anything like that. Do you guys have a set amount of time that you normally sit with someone and train them on how to use the system and how it works?
What we would do is, so if you signed on with us, I would find out like, what is your first paycheck date? So I would be the one that is setting you up your company in the system. So I would know when your first check date is, and then I would look and see like, what is the first day that you need to submit your payroll. So I would try to set up a training with you. It's usually about an hour long. And I'll go through the whole thing. You can have it up on your screen and I can show you my screen and we can walk through the whole thing. You can actually go through the whole timesheet entry with me, or if you're using TCP and we need to export your hours, I can show you what to do on my screen and you can just copy what I'm doing and we'll get your hours exported. And then we would go into Prism. We'd go into your timesheet entry screen and it'd show you all of that and things that I would look at before I submitted payroll. And then I'd show you how to submit the payroll. And then once it's calculated and everything, and we send it back out for your approval, then we could get back on the phone again and I could share my screen again and I can walk you through that whole process. Normally, I don't need to do that though. When I do the payroll training and and I'm showing someone how to submit your payroll, I'm actually showing you what to do to approve it as well and what will happen at that point. And then if you needed help, you could give me a call. But if you don't, you would already know from earlier when we talked and when you submit your payroll, you'd know what to expect when the payroll approval notification comes out to you. So it's really easy. And I can spend as much time with you as you want, or we can spend 15 minutes if that's all it takes you.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right.
And then, another question, Lori, from me, and in the event that Brandy, you guys decide to go with the benefits route, 401k, all that business, Lori, that's all set up within the system, and it's just automatic. The deductions just occur automatically once we
Well,
do
right.
that.
The benefits department would set all that up.
Okay.
Right. So anything related to benefits and 401k, so benefits and retirement, that's all the benefits department.
Okay.
So, but yes, it would all be set up. Your first payroll too, we always do a quality check, quality assurance check internally. So whoever is assigned to you for as your payroll specialist, that person knows that the very first payroll that is being processed, it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get it out for approval, because not only do I need to do a QC check on it, but benefits needs to do a QC check as well. So the payroll specialist on that first payroll will never send out the payroll for approval before both people like sign off on it and say, okay, yes, this is good to go. This is what we expected to see. Go ahead and send it out for approval. So that's how that would work.
Okay. Looks good.
Yeah. There was only a couple of other things I want to show you in here real quick. I'm not sure if you guys have a PTO policy or anything, but if you did, you could come in and you could look at their PTO balance just right in here. And this person doesn't have any available hours, but this is where you would be able to see it. You'd be able to see how many hours were calculated, how many were taken, and what's available. And then this is going to show you any kind of like accrual information. And then this part right here is going to show you anytime that they use their PTO.
Okay.
It'll show you the check date over here. Then you can also get to the vouchers. So if you ever needed to reprint a payroll voucher or reprint a check stub, I don't think we have any actually. Oh, here. So if you needed to reprint a check stub, you would come on and you would find the check that you wanted to see, and then you would come over to the banking tab, and this right here tells you it was a paper check. But if you just needed to see the check stub, you just click on it and it'll come up in a second. And then that's what their check stub would look like. And then same thing with W-2s. You do have the ability to get them for them. So we don't have any set up for the demo, but what you would do is you would just click on the tax year, and then you would click on run. And the same thing that happened with the check stub, it'll just pop up on your screen. You can save it. You can print it out. You can do whatever you want or whatever you needed to do with it.
Great. And Lori, question for you. So I saw the area where you could upload documents. So this is kind of a central repository for any kind of documents from I-9s or anything that they need to sign. Brandy could put in this repository and have it all in place.
When they do the electronic onboarding, it'll automatically put all of the documents into that employee's document section, because they're being electronically onboarded. So yes, she would be able to go in and see those things if she needed to.
Okay.
And then also though, if she had a pay rate change and she wanted to fill out a status form and she wanted to do her own pay rate change, she could still house that document in this employee's document section if she wanted to use it like that.
Okay. Good. Okay, sorry, Brandy. I'm full of questions.
Brandy, did you have any other questions, or did you want to see something else?
I think she's got us on mute for just a sec. Or
sorry, guys. No,
that's
okay. I think you covered everything.
Okay, so are you comfortable? So it sounds like, Brandy, you've got total control.
Right.
We're not going to pay anybody until you approve it.
Right.
And you have access to all of our experts, Kirsten, who's on the phone, Lori, you have a payroll person, a payroll specialist. So you're in very good hands.
Yeah, it's very extensive. Thank you for all the information.
Okay, and I know you're probably overwhelmed. It is a lot of information. I'm glad I recorded it, and I'll get it converted to YouTube and then send it out to you with the other one from yesterday with Bob Walsh. And
Okay.
he's supposed to be sending you an email. I haven't seen anything, but he should be sending a follow-up from yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Brandy, I want to just jump in real quick and tell
Yeah.
you two things. First one is remember to breathe. And I get this, it appears to be a lot of information. I know, Debbie shared with us how important it was to you to really understand what the system capabilities are.
Mhm.
But I don't want you to think that we're going to just throw you out there and say, here, go figure it out. Because you have a lot of resources available to you through each and every step for your entire partnership with ESI.
Right.
So, please try not to get overwhelmed with that. And
No,
then,
I don't think I do think it's overwhelming, honestly, because I don't think that I'm going to use most of this stuff. And we have a dispatching system that does the clock in, clock out. The way I'm looking at it is more like this is a whole nother job for me, like another job. If you get what I'm saying, and I'm just processing it to see if it's worth my time to have to dedicate so much time to something like this.
Well, so how, just to kind of talk about that, how was it different than what you do with the ADP team today?
Well, I have all that's automated. That's one thing. It just comes out once you set it. Right now we're paying a contract laborer and we're just keeping his hours based on the dispatching system. So he goes into Dispatch Plus is what we use. He clocks in, he clocks out for the day. That's all. And then we write him a check. We write that check out of our business account manually. And so far with a W-9, I guess, or whatever it's called, that's all we do. It's very basic. And we do have a salaried employee right now, but I mentioned to you, Debbie, that he just put in his 2 weeks, and then eventually we'll find another salaried employee too. So the paid time off request thing, I could see the benefit of having that, but we're so small. I could also just keep a calendar, a very basic,
Sure.
Oh, well, he's worked this many, he only has 10 for the calendar year, whatever it may be. But it just seems like this is for something a little bit larger scale than what we are. Maybe next year, maybe in 2 years. It makes a lot of sense. But like I said, I just feel like this would just add so much time to my week that I already don't have.
If I could just jump in really quick, you don't have to use Time Clock Plus.
That's what I was going to say.
That's completely optional. You could just use HR or PrismHR,
Right.
and you would go your timesheet entry. There isn't a timesheet out there. Hold on. Let me see if I can create one really quick.
Lori, maybe just talk to her about it. I think Brandy understands kind of the general
Right.
idea.
Yeah.
Right. So the timesheet entry screen, it's just going to look like a big spreadsheet. Okay. So you're going to have your employees' names listed. You're going to see a column for the pay rate. And then you're also going to have columns that say regular, overtime, holiday, PTO. If you have commissions, if you have bonuses, we can set up 10 columns in that timesheet entry screen. And then you can just type right in there 40 hours, 22 hours. You can just go straight across the board. Maybe he's owed $100 commission. You can just type it all in there, and then you just click on finalize, and that submits your payroll to us.
Okay.
And then we process it.
That seems a little bit more. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. So
I have questions.
Yeah.
So anyway, like you said, with commission, things like that, we do pay commission on sales that don't happen very often. It's more just labor, but yeah, that interests me. If someone has
bonuses or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And I could set up whatever pay codes you needed.
Okay.
And I can assign, like I said, 10 columns in that timesheet. So if you only have 5 pay codes that you use a lot, I mean, then you've got 5 extra columns as you grow. And if you need something else set up in there, but I can set it up to be super simple. You're just going to go into, it looks like an Excel spreadsheet. You're just going to type in the hours. You'll be able to see exactly what's in there. You can pull a timesheet report before you even submit your payroll. And then that way you can kind of use that to balance, make sure that everything actually came across right and everything looks right. And then once we process it and we send it out for your approval, you've got probably about 6 different reports plus the invoice, the pending invoice. And it's not final at that point. You get to approve it. So you get to choose the reports that you like the best, that work for you. And you would go through and just make sure everything looks good. Look at your invoice. Okay, fine. Now I know the total. You're going to approve it. And then once you approve it, it's going to change on our screen and we're just going to post it.
All right.
I mean,
So
it's
it can
super
be
simple.
It can be as, and I want to say complex, as you can see, there's full functionality within the system. So it's kind of a matter of how you want to run it, Brandy. If you want it really simple, sounds like we can make it very simple, and everything we showed you, some things wouldn't even apply. So it's kind of up to you, but it's a system that can grow with your company.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, well, and any other questions?
Not from me.
Okay, Kirsten, Lori, anything you want to add?
So I did have, Brandy, I just wanted to, one thing I was supposed to share with you earlier and I failed to do so. When I was telling you who I am, is that the other nice thing is that you get to have my direct cell phone number, which so you're not calling into a main number, you are calling me or texting me when you have a question or concern. And so that just enhances my availability to you. When one of your employees is out on a job and calls you with a question, you have somebody you can reach out to who can get that answered for you. Awesome. So, we've tried today to really kind of show you the amazing functionality of everything. My hope is that you take that, but then understand this can all be customized to be what you need it to be. And that our whole goal is to make it more simple for you, not more complicated.
Right.
So if we haven't communicated that as effectively as we had hoped, then I'm sorry for that.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, and I just took a note because you did say that you use that Dispatch Plus, and I don't know if we can interface to Dispatch Plus. I know we can interface, to different ERPs for uploads to the GL and stuff like that. But I don't know if there's any way to interface to Dispatch Plus.
Okay.
Just throwing that out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, aren't we glad it's Friday?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, we will end the call, and Brandy, you and I will chit chat again on Monday. I think Kirsten may be there as well. We'll be on with Jessica Nelson to talk more about the benefits and understand what your options are, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you all for your time today. Have a
great weekend.
Y'all have a great weekend. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.